Hi, this is Christine Traversa, and I had a few ladies ask me how I made a particular card recently on Facebook. So today I'm here making my very first card video to show you how I made that floral card. Basically, you're looking right at the card. It's a layered card with a large floral image, and it has dimension and a centerpiece that's popped up with a sentiment. The flower is from Hero Arts, and 3 of the green leaves are also from Hero Arts. They're actually the flower. I just colored them to make them into leaves. The 3 leaf stamps besides that are from a different set, and I apologize I don't have the name handy, and the sentiment is from a different set as well. To start the card, what I did was I took some very inexpensive watercolor paper, 90 pound, I got it at I think Joann's, and I just took a piece and cut it to fit my Misty stamp tool. And the watercolor paper has kind of a different front and back texture on the page. I went ahead and I just used the front side of the page as it appears in the tablet. I put the paper in the Misty tool, and I have the flower image, and using Ranger archival ink in jet black, and the ink is very important that you use something similar to this because it works well with the moisture. I went ahead and I inked the stamp, and I stamped it multiple times onto my watercolor paper. The great thing about the Misty tool is if you stamp it one time, the stamp, and you don't get the best image, you can stamp and stamp and stamp right over the top. There's never any movement, and you can keep going until you get it perfect. Then move the stamp and repeat the stamping as many times as you want. To make this card, I basically stamped the flower 3 times. So I started here doing that, and I started showing a sample of how I colored it and how I cut it as well. So these are the colors that I used from the Zig Clean Color Real Brush marker set. I do have the set of 60, but a lot of people say that's, you know, you don't need anywhere near that number of colors. The colors I used were pink, FL pink, light carmine, mid green, and light green. And there are those pens. So to do the leaves, what I did was I took the mid green and I used that to color the top part of the leaf, actually the flower, but the leaf image. Then I used the other green and I colored the lower part of the section. Then I went back over the top with the mid green, adding some more color. And then I added the light green, a little bit more, kind of along the lines and a little bit extra towards the bottom just to add some more realistic effect. Once you color it, you might look at it and say, you know, gosh, I don't really care for that. But when it dries, you may find that you like it a whole lot because the colors blend together and the finished product is a bit different. I went ahead and I did the center very similarly. I just colored part of the circles with the one green and then another piece of the circle with the other green. To do the flower, I took the light carmine, and let me see, I'm going to go backwards with it. I did the pink, which is the darkest shade, and I put it towards the middle of the flower. And this is really the same technique I used with the green, but here I'm going to show you from scratch. Then I took the pink that's more of a peach shade, which is the light carmine, and I kind of went right over the top of the darker shade. And then I extended, you know, beyond that closer to the end of the flower. And then with the last shade, which is the lightest pink, I did the end of the flower and I colored back into the other color that I just placed on the flower, and that helps the colors to blend. So what happens is I went ahead then and I decided that first of all, I would put down the bottom layer of the card. And actually, this is like the worst colored flower that I had. I didn't even necessarily try to make it perfect because it's hidden. So I just wanted it to be like a base. So that by no means has to be perfect. So say I took this one and I colored it, and then I cut it and I left a white rim around the edge. And that's basically how you cut it there. It's a fussy cut. You just cut it, leaving a small white edge. It doesn't have to be perfect because no one's going to know or care. And I put that down with some dimensional adhesive. It's actually this large foam roll of adhesive. I put a little under each petal to give that some dimension. Then what I did was I took another flower that I had colored in full, and I placed that on top of the first flower, and I put 2 layers of the foam tape underneath the center of that flower, and I placed that directly on top. And I kind of folded the petals and turned them back to give it some added dimension. Then I decided where I was going to start placing leaves. So I had cut them out, and I actually cut all the way around and just kind of, cut it right there at the center. I cut it off right there. And I just first of all, I experimented and I just kind of slid it underneath the flower to see where I liked the look. Then I pulled it back out. Then I put just a little bit of basic Thermoweb flat adhesive on the back of it, and I slid it back under, and I just pushed it down. So I did a couple leaves flat like that, and then I actually put another one on, and I used 1 layer of foam tape on that to give that a little bit of dimension. And again, I just kind of try to fold the ends up a little bit for dimension. And then these 3 leaves that were from another set, I colored them the same way, cut them the same way with the white border. I put 2 on flat with the flat adhesive, and the third one has a bit of foam adhesive underneath it. The last thing that I did was I took the center of the flower, and this is actually, so like if I colored this flower and I stuck it down as this top flower, I cut an extra centerpiece, the circular center, and I put it in there on a small piece of foam tape to give it dimension above the actual flower. Then what I did was I took diamond glaze or glassy glaze, they're all kind of the similar product, and I put it, actually I tried to drop it on each of the individual circles, because this ends up having a very cool effect when you touch it. It just feels like these are all separate little pieces within the center, and it gives it added dimension and appeal. Then I went ahead and I stamped the sentiment on. Again, I used my Misty, the black ink, and I just keep a bunch of, I don't know if you can see over here, I keep a bunch of just blank, inexpensive cardstock, white cards on hand that I've already cut to the size that I want and folded, scored. And then I just, when I'm crafting, I just grab one of those and I just throw the card together quickly. And the inside's plain and it's very simple. So that's really all there is to it. If you have any questions and you want some more help, just email me at rtct7@comcast.net. Otherwise, it's pretty easy. So give it a try and let me know what you think. Thanks.